Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another episode of Off the Wall. It's your boy, Dazzle167, bringing you another episode today. And today we have a very special guest, influencer marketing specialist for G2 Esports, shoutcaster, Twitch singer, sponsorship assistant for World Best Gaming, an all-around great guy, EmJov. How you doing, dude?
Hi, it's good to see you.
Good, man, good. Well, listen, this is a funny story because I went to TwitchCon. And I hadn't done the Twitch Sing stuff. Like I messed around with the app a couple times, but I never really went live with it. And I was like, I'll do the line. It'll be fun. And then you were right next to me, and you were like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" And we just started talking and stuff like that. And then I think I did my thing and got out. And then I watched your performance. I was like, "Wow, this guy's really good." And you gave me your business card, and then I started doing research, and I was like, "Wow, this guy looks really cool. It looks like it'll be an awesome interview." And then I asked you, and behold, you're here now. So it's cool to have you. Thank you so much for showing up. It's awesome.
Can I level with you here? I want to
yeah.
And some people are gonna hate me from this immediately. I'm getting off to a bad start, but I'm gonna out myself here. When when we were in line for that Twitch Sings booth, did you notice me hop in line?
I did. And then, but I noticed that, like, cause it's funny you say that too, because the next day it's okay. So this is a story, right? So the next day, I was in line like really early in the morning. I was like, I want to do it, but I don't want to do like the big line like I did. I just want to go in and do my thing and come back out, right? So I did the same thing. And somebody else hopped in line. Somebody else did the same thing the next day. And like, I wasn't okay. So like, I never saw myself as like an amazing singer. I can carry a note or two, right? Like I'm okay, right? So when this guy came in, he's also a really good singer, right? Mm-hmm. And like, he was like, "Hey, I gotta go do this thing over here for the charity stuff. Do you mind if I just cut in real quick?" I was like, "Sure, it's not a problem." So I did the same. So honestly, it wasn't really that big of a deal when you hopped the line. You were so cool about it too.
I just kind of like slipped in. I was like, "Hey, how you doing, man?"
To be honest, like I think you're lucky that nobody else really like reacted to it, or like, cause like I honestly didn't really care. I would have been fine. I mean, if you wait for an hour and a half or 2 hours. It really does
behind you, so
right. It doesn't really matter, like it, like so. I don't know, but still, like it was a fun little journey, and I got to see you perform John Legend, so that was really good. That was really fun. It was really fun. So listen, when I started researching you and seeing all the stuff and talking about it seemed like a very interesting thing. But before we get into all of that, because I want to talk about, I think this is a great moment to have you, because I know that you are you play a lot of Fortnite, you play a lot of Apex, and I think that you're the perfect person to talk to about the Fortnite experience that we've been experiencing in the past few days. So we'll get into all of that. We'll get into all of that. But before we do that, let's go all the way back and rewind it to the beginning and talk about the origins of you as a gamer. Tell me a little bit about what you started playing.
Origins of EmJov. Okay.
Exactly. Let's talk about that. What games did you start playing? And when did you start really like getting into like the esports aspect and the competitiveness?
So if I take it all the way back to like my earliest gaming, of course, I played like Nintendo systems, the really old ones, NES, N64, all that. It had my little Game Boy, the little yellow one that had no color on the screen.
Right.
Loved all of them. But when I was 3 years old, I started playing on PC. I started playing StarCraft. So it was a bit of an advanced game for a little kid, but everybody in my family played StarCraft. My dad, all my uncles, my cousins, my brother, we all played StarCraft.
Nice.
And I was the little one of the bunch. So 3 years old, I had to hop in and start learning how to use a PC, how to play on there, just like the rest of them. So I got a head start with my PC gaming. But I'd say the very earliest of my esports stuff The first time I played in like a league, I played Halo 3 MLG. And I remember
Okay.
the first team match that I had it was on my 14th birthday, I think. I think it was my 14th birthday. And we had like a little birthday party for me and everything. And I told my family, I was like, guys, I got something important to do.
Right.
So, yeah, sit aside for like 45 minutes to an hour, and they watched me play Halo on the couch there. I got my butt whooped, man.
Right.
Got it handed to me. But that was the first time I played in a competition, and even though I got whooped, I had the most fun that year with playing Halo. And I was like, wow, getting destroyed is fun, but it's the playing at the higher levels that was more fun for me. So that's I think that I would say that was like my origin for esports.
Right, and it fueled you, right? Because once you get into those games, and even if you get beaten like badly or however you get beaten,
really badly,
right? it doesn't matter, because then you feel like, okay, now I got there's something to grind, and I feel like every video gamer out there knows like about the grind. You know, they know that like whether you're grinding an RPG or you're grinding your mechanics for a competitive game, there's always that grind that like attracts gamers to different games, right? And you want to get better and stuff like that. I want to interject real quick here, just because Trigo7 in the chat subscribed for 10 months. I appreciate that, Trigo. Thank you so much for the subscription.
Thank you, Trigo.
So all right, so now that's a really cool segue to go into Fortnite, and I want to talk about your specific into the battle royale genre and your esports and stuff like that. But before we do that, I want to talk about what everybody's been talking about in the past few days, which is Fortnite transitioning from their chapters from chapter 1 to chapter 2. I watched the VOD of you trying to get into a game.
Secondary title: EmJov loses his mind for 2 days. No kidding. I lost my mind. That, along with other things in life, I went dark. Now my boss didn't hear from me from like 3 days.
Right, and it's so, and I think you put it really well on social media, where you said that it almost feels like a social experiment on the side of Epic Games, because it really they just kind of did it and they didn't explain it, right? They just did it, and a lot of people, they obviously ominously titled it The End, right? So so who knows, it could have lasted longer than that, and people would have
very well could have been the end of Fortnite.
Yeah, it could have been, and like some people were saying, if this is the end, it's like such a good way to end, because it's like they just cut people off, like, and that's it. So I mean, let me get your thoughts as the event was going on, because I know that at some point you were trying to get through it, and then you couldn't get into a game, so you just started watching it live. So what did you think of the event itself as it was going through, and what were your thoughts as it happened, where you just saw the black hole?
Going through it, I mean, I kind of had to rewatch it after the fact. But I'd say, first of all, Fortnite always does amazing cinematic events. I pretty much every single event I've created a video for it. I've edited, just getting all the angles, seeing how much effort they put into this big thing. And this time around, it felt like kind of shorter. It felt like there was a little bit less going on. But it was followed by something so intense.
Right.
It was followed by something bigger than just an event.
Yeah.
It was the longest event that we've ever had, for sure. Me and my trio partners, along with a few other friends from our Discord, we're all in Discord together trying to figure out what the heck was going on. Swearing at the top of our lungs. Just like, well, what is going on? What is happening? Who has a feed? Who got in the game? Come on, what's going on?
Yeah.
I pulled up the Twitch feed, and my first reaction, I remember, I was just like, wow, this camera person is bad.
Yeah, they were trying to build stuff, and they didn't really.
it was like ruining the experience. I was like, I would have done a better job. Put me in the game.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit bad for that reaction. I was like, oh, they're just doing the best they can, you know?
Right. Right.
But still, beautiful cinematic experience, just as the other in-game events have been. You know, I'd say I'd put this maybe like fifth out of all the in-game events that I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, I've experienced a lot of the earlier ones for sure. Especially when they started doing the rifts and stuff like that. And I casually play Fortnite. Like, I don't play it, you know, like really, like, I don't grind it like other players do. You know, I play a lot more like Overwatch and stuff like that. But I've played Fortnite casually, and you know, I've got to say, Epic has always been at the forefront of the gaming industry, especially since Fortnite, because you know it's cross-platform. It's something that, like, they make an event out of everything. I mean, everything that they do, as far as like whenever they even now, like something as simple as like this could have been just as simple as an update. Right. I mean, if you think about it, it's basically an update of the game. Right. It's like the 2.0 version of Fortnite. And
they make a big deal out of every one.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And they make a big deal out of every one. What are your thoughts on like how they did it in the transition? Because like for like 2 days, like it was like 72 hours where it was just a black hole. I mean, I it's funny because I saw memes about how like when you know people like 40,000 people were watching the black hole for like 2 days. And people were making memes about like when the black hole is a lot more interesting than half of Twitch. You know, like just watching the because you know there was so many viewership. So what are your thoughts on how they did it, how handle, and have you played chapter 2 so far, and what do you think of it?
Honestly, I'm not super happy with how they did it. That I'm just gonna put that out there. You know, all the other seasons that they put an in-game event, you know, blasted the map somehow, changed things up, whatever it may be. Then they gave us the update. You know, we were happy with that. We just wanted some new stuff. But just because I'm unhappy with how they did it does not mean that it is the most genius. It's not the most genius plan.
Right.
That their marketing team is on something else, because this generated traffic.
Absolutely.
This created views and news articles. And,
I mean, it was trending worldwide.
It was trending worldwide. Yeah, it was followed by so many people, and they did a good job getting people to notice. Hey, we've changed the game. We've reset the game. We've made it completely different from what you've been seeing for the past year or so, and that they, you know, they brought the marketing. They gave us the game, and now we're in chapter 2. I have played games myself, and I'm giving it a thumbs up. It took me a little while. The first day and a half there, and I was over here just like, I was like, man, I don't know. It's you know, it's not what we were just playing, but it shook things up so big. But it gave me time to realize, like, this is, I do like what they did there. They changed the game. That the whole meta is shaken up, you know. It's as far as catering to new players, helpful, you know, good on that. As far as esports, they've stayed true to what they've been doing since the very start, which was making the people who would succeed those people who were the most adaptable in the scene. Those people who would figure out how to make things work no matter what Fortnite threw at them. Whether Fortnite gave them an anti-gravity thing, whether they put a new item in the game, you know, the day before a major tournament, and it's always rewarded those people who are most adaptable, and they're doing that again by shaking things up and saying, hey, we're setting up a new squads champion series coming soon. Info on Friday. You know, figure out the season now. We're not even going to give you patch notes so you can figure out what we changed. It's up to you to figure it out and to adapt to whatever's in the game right now, rather than us telling you what to do. So I'm going to give it a thumbs up.
And, you know, I think it was so, like you said, it was very smart. And I think it was smart because, like, when the event happened, I wasn't playing Fortnite at the time, but when it happened, I was like, gee, maybe I should have played Fortnite, because now I feel like I won't play it ever. Like it's over, it's done. There's no more Fortnite. And so like, I feel like there was, and that was just me, a casual player. Like people who grind the game like you, like I saw, and I saw a lot of like extreme views on how like, this is stupid. I gave so much money and like now I don't get to play it. And like, you have so many, but it just goes to show how powerful it is for them, and such a great marketing for them to like just take it away for 2 days, and all of a sudden, boom, just bring it back with something new and fresh. And hey, now you get to fish. Like there's so many different things that are so cool. Like it looks like a new trailer.
That's the takeaway.
You get to fish, right? Like first of all, that when I saw the trailer, like everything's so epic. People are like jumping off of cliffs and waterfalls and stuff like that, and then just cut off to like people fishing. And that's really the thing that caught me, because I thought, all right, listen, I've played BRs before. Who has time to fish in the middle of a game? Like why is that there? And I thought about it, I was like, why? There's no reason. Like I guess I'd have to play the game and see how it is now.
And they put it in the game in a way that it makes sense. There's no telling. Let me tell you a quick anecdote from last season. Okay, Fortnite just knows how to make things randomly work and still like work in a video game. Like they just take, I think they throw in an idea generator online somewhere, and it's just like noun, adjective, noun, and and then they're like, let's do it.
Right.
Last season, I had to explain, because I played in Twitch Rivals for Fortnite at TwitchCon, and I had to explain to one of my partners. I was like, okay, so this is what you missed in Fortnite over the past year. In this area, you can't crouch. You turn into a toilet if you crouch. In this area, every 30 seconds, you pull out tacos and you start dancing for a little while. In this area, everybody is literally Batman. And he's like, you're kidding, right? Like, none of this could be actually real. And I was like, oh, it is real. And it's Fortnite. Welcome to the game. And this area is Borderlands. And it's like...
Right.
It's the words coming out of my mouth. I was like, I can't believe this is the game that I play. But I love it so much, man.
Right. Well, that's a perfect segue, because speaking of Twitch Rivals, I wanted to talk to you about Twitch Rivals. You mentioned on your social media about how that was going to be the last time wearing the G2 Esports jersey, and how you were going to be retiring it. First of all, I want to talk to you about your experience in Twitch Rivals. I saw the arena. I saw a couple of games, and man, was that ridiculously awesome. Like, the place was really cool, like the competitiveness and all of that. What was your experience like being there?
Oh, man. I mean, I did 2 of the Twitch Rivals events there, too. I did both Fortnite on the first day and Apex on the last day. And it was a blast. First of all, in the player lounge, it was nice. They gave us little snacks and drinks we could chill and have. And like everybody got a t-shirt, and it's like, hey, you're a Twitch Rivals participant. They treated us nice before we even got onto the stage, and I thought that was cool. And then Fortnite specifically, when they were like, all right, we're lined up. Okay, this person's going to guide you to where you're going. And the person guided us, and me and my 2 teammates, like we're on the very center top, so we walked up the middle of it. The crowd is in the stands behind us,
right? And
we turned around and we just like, hey guys, how's it going? Like, whoa, I'm on top of the world. Hey, let's take pictures. So we stopped and we took pictures there. That you might have seen on my social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
Photo, just me flexing out hard right there. Yeah, that was like a moment where we're just like, man, let's just enjoy it while we're up here, and until somebody tells us stop.
Yeah, no, it looks so cool. I mean, obviously it was just so professionally well done, and the way they brought people out and everything, and stuff like that. I want to talk to you a little bit about G2 Esports. You know, you made their top 8 for making the squad. For those of you who don't know out there, you know, you competed for making the squad for G2 Esports, and they made a whole YouTube video about it. And you know, how was that experience like? Because, you know, watching you compete in a lot of it, and watching you talk about it, you talked about how there was a lot of camaraderie, and you developed, you know, a lot of friendships, and it became sort of a family for you going through that. So tell us a little bit about that journey specifically.
Making the squad was a life-changing event. At the time of making the squad starting, it was something like late October 2018. Was it 2018? Yeah, late October 2018, around then. I just saw a random Twitter post where, you know, I guess a friend retweeted it or liked it or something. And it was just like, hey, you know, Fortnite players and content creators, take your shot. Come try and join us here at G2. You know, show us your chops. Show us that you can make good content. Show us that you're a good Fortnite player. And I was like, I mean, at the time, I was part-time working at, you know, a Columbia store here in the Bay Area. And at the same time, I was streaming, you know, the 30, 40 hours a week. And I was like, well, I'd like to take my streaming another level again, you know, because it had been some time, and I didn't feel like I was going anywhere too much. And you know, made it into the top 16 or 32 or whatever it may be. It was so cool each week getting a different, you know, video from them, because it was a full, I think, 8-week video series or so. Each week, just seeing a couple of different videos from them, the announcements, the emails saying like, hey, you made it to the top 16. Hey, you made it to the top 8. You know, you're going to Berlin. Like, let's get you set up with your plane ticket and all that stuff. And every step of the way, it moved so fast. I couldn't like grasp onto anything. I was just like, hey, move with the flow that's going. The riptide is pushing us hard. You know, I'm just gonna swim with the current and see if I can catch on. You know, but before I knew it, I had seen the post one day, and the next, I was on a plane to Berlin. I got out of the airport in Berlin, and you know, they said, hey, get a taxi. We'll pay for the taxi when you get here. And I was like, I don't know German. I was like, the challenges start as soon as you get off the plane.
Right.
It's like, oh god.
Right.
I was so thankful. I just like pulled up a screenshot on my phone of the address.
Oh,
the
gotcha.
And it's just like, yes.
Nice.
We go. And I was like, oh, thank God. Right. And you know, walking into the apartment, a few of the people were already there. You know, these people I'd only like generally heard of. Some of them I even played with before the fact, before Berlin. You know, it's a little scary going into a house that you know you're going to be living in for a few weeks, you know, with a bunch of other content creators. You're thinking like, wow, this is either going to be the most amazing or the worst experience of my life. You know, either we're going to kill each other in competition, or we're going to have a blast. And luckily, we had a blast. You know, every day doing everything together, eating together, singing together. You know, we really enjoyed each other's company while we were there. At the end of the competition, you know, even after the 4 were selected, you know, a few of us were sad that we didn't get picked, sure, but we still celebrated together. We were like, yo, we went on this journey, we made it all the way out here. You know, but why not just enjoy what we got here? And that's what we did, man. Making the squad was a really fun experience to be a part of, and I thank G2 greatly for that. I was lucky that after they picked the 4, and though I wasn't picked, I was heartbroken from that moment. They said that they paused the camera, they stopped rolling for a second. They said, all right, we want to level with you guys. You know, we're going to be watching the rest of you to see how you guys progress over the next year anyway. Also, EmJov, we know we didn't pick you for the top 4, but would you like to manage the top 4 and manage some of our other talents and these things? we could use help on the Twitch side of things for the company. And I was like, I'd sure, like I'd
Right.
be glad to. Let's do this thing. Like I wanted to be a part of it. It's not the role that I expected to go into, but it was a good role nonetheless. And just, laying down that jersey now and seeing what comes next.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's very cool. And I think that watching the journey, as as somebody who's was kind of new to it myself, just doing the research and stuff,
Mhm.
it was impressive because at some point, even when they were announcing the top 8, the first thing that they said about you in that video was how impressive you were during those challenges and trials, where they were like, oh, he exceeded everyone that was playing at these challenges. So obviously you had a tremendous journey during that entire time, which is really awesome to see. So that's really cool, and it's cool how you transitioned to a different role just so that you can be part of something that was a little bit bigger, and you were just like you
Mhm.
went into it. And I think that's something really cool that, like you were mentioning before about how people had to adapt to the game, you kind of did that with life, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it went into like you didn't get selected for the top 4, but you were like, I gotta adapt, and we'll do this as well. So I think I think that's really cool. I want to transition a little bit into Apex, because I know you play that as well,
Hmm.
especially on stream and stuff like that. Apex also went through a transition themselves. They have a new map, they have the season 2, and they
Yeah.
doing all of that stuff. I want your thoughts on this specifically, because I want you to consider how Epic did their transition and how Apex is doing theirs as well. And I think for me as an outsider who just casually plays BRs, I see both of them as like, well, there's Epic did like this whole crazy publicity stunt and whatever, and then changed the game. And then Apex
Mhm.
kind of went middle of the road, where we're like, nope, we announced it, we have a trailer, here's what it is, and blah, there you go. And
They went
so
for a classic marketing strategy. It's
classic marketing, exactly. But
respectable.
so what are your thoughts on Apex so far, and how's the game feel like for you?
I enjoy the game quite a bit. I do play Apex every other day still. I like to keep my battle royale chops on every game
Right.
that I can. I came from the H1Z1 community where our motto was literally adapt.
Right.
Just so I like to be familiar with everything around battle royale, especially the esports scene. Um, that's even where I got my start as a shoutcaster too, H1Z1. But when Apex came out, I actually at the start of it, I didn't enjoy the game too much. And I felt like there was something missing from it. I just wanted more from the game. But I knew that it was something very different from everything else that was out there. And so I told people, I was like, hey, here's my prediction. This game is going to do well, but it's going to take about 6 months before it starts to pick up heavily. It's, esports isn't going to be treated very well for also about the same amount of time. And after that 6 month period, esports is going to hit for it really hard for, about a year or two. And look at us now, Apex Legends. It's been about 7 months now, and we're picking up hard. The Krakow Invitational happened. Twitch Rivals was a big tournament, both at TwitchCon EU and TwitchCon NA this year. Uh, Apex is picking up heavily with the newest season. I think they call it Meltdown. With the new map, the new character, all of it. Yeah, I'm interested to see how people once again, and I'm going to say this word over and over anytime I reference battle royale, how people adapt as things change for them. If you're given a new map, if you're getting a new character, new guns, how do people change up their meta? How do they change up their playstyle so that they can continue being the best that they can be? And that's why I feel like Apex Legends is going to show some of the most true, most competitive like shooter competitors over the next year. I think that this is the community where they're really going to foster that growth. Although my game of choice is definitely Fortnite when it comes to my competitive gameplay, I think Apex is going to have some of the peak competitors across the world. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, the new map is cool. I'd say aesthetically, I love it.
Right.
so much. You can see like the mirror imaging of the map. You know, you'll see one section of the map on one side and it's frozen over, and on the opposite side it's covered in magma, like just hot
Yeah.
lava all over there. And I think it's really cool to look at and to explore. You know, I've touched every inch of that map already at this point, and I definitely am a big fan of it. Weapon choice, I feel like they made some really good choices as far as changing up some of the hop ups, removing the disruptor rounds for the alternator, and taking out skull piercer rifling for the wingman and the longbow,
Hmm.
and just, you know, evening out the headshot multiplier. You know, I don't want to bore some people
With
with
the
the
yeah.
exact details
Yeah.
of how I feel about it, but just know I think it's a good update. I'm really glad with how they changed up their ranked system. Apex is going places. Believe me, in it, I'm gonna say what it's October right now. By May, you will see a major LAN event with numbers like a Fortnite competition,
Mm.
viewership numbers like a Fortnite competition. I'd be willing to bet that there will be an Apex Legends LAN with over $1 million in prizing by August of next year.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would love to see it, and I think you're right about the map. You know, from what I've seen so far, it feels like a more dynamic map. I mean, there's a train. There's so many different things that I feel like make it dynamic in the sense that, like, when Fortnite started bringing in things that you can interact with in the map as well. That made it interesting for me as more of a casual player, and I think that's really cool. To see it as well. Talk to me. Let's transition into shoutcasting. I feel like this is a very interesting thing to do. I know many casters. That I've talked to some of them, and I've had some of them on my show as well. And we've had different levels of shoutcasters. People who just do it on for small events, or just internet, and just and some
Mhm.
people who have done it for LAN. What's your experience with shoutcasting? How did you get into it, and what's your experience so far with it?
So I've done a little bit of both, online and in person for shoutcasting. And you know, my experience has been pretty fun with it. I feel like I of all the opportunities that I've taken in esports, that one has always been put kind of in the back burner for me. Although I enjoy doing it a ton. It started off with me in H1Z1 once again. I helped shoutcast some competitive events in there, scrims and whatever have you there, because I was also helping run leagues and tournaments in H1Z1. This was, I want to say, like 3-4 years ago that started. Um, and it was funny. It kind of just it was there to fill the void. Shoutcasting filled the competitive void for me because some tournaments I just couldn't qualify to play. So sometimes I just couldn't make the cut and
Right.
be like, man, I wish I was part of that top 100 people that could play in this big tournament, but I'll find a way to get in it anyway. So I get behind the microphone, get behind the camera, and I'll put myself out there. And after the first time I did, it was a scrims event for something called Champions Arena. I think was the first scrims event that I casted for. I did it. My PC wasn't even strong enough to stream. I literally, somebody else had to do the camera work for me, and I streamed. It was a browser window. It was a browser window where somebody else was streaming their gameplay and sound and just made
Gotcha.
no noise at all.
Wow.
But yeah, my PC just wasn't strong enough to stream any game at all.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and I had so much fun, and people in the chat at the first time around, they were like, "Who is this guy? You know, he's kind of like no emotion kind of caster," and gave it a few tries, and the reactions got better and better. They're like, "Oh, it's him again. I like him. Oh, like this guy is so funny. He's a good caster," and it kept on. It grew, and my ego inflated, and I was like, I think I'll stick to this. This is kind of fun. You know, like
Right.
uh, and went from that to casting like small Fortnite things with different communities. The money matches less than $1,000. Uh, and then TwitchCon last year, TwitchCon in San Jose. Did you go to TwitchCon in San Jose?
No. No.
No. So those people that might be watching right now, um, if you went to TwitchCon San Jose, there was a booth with a DeLorean out in the front. It was the coolest little thing. You'd walk by, and everybody came just to take pictures with the DeLorean.
I
But
would.
at right
Yeah.
at that booth that had the DeLorean was the Bebo booth, which was that they were a tournament organizer, um, and I knew the guy that was he was kind of shoutcasting it, but he wasn't a very experienced shoutcaster. And some people, I saw some people online kind of laughing at him. So I went over. I was like, "Hey, man, Jason, you want to take a bathroom break? I'll take over for you."
Nice.
He goes, "Dude, you know what? Yeah, please. Here, take the microphone. Just make sure you promote this thing and talk about that." And I was like, "Nope, dude, don't worry about it, man. I got it. I killed it." And they were like, "Can you come back tomorrow? We'll pay you to cast here the full day." I was like, "I'm glad to, man. Like, no problem." And
Nice.
I casted there, and I mean, it had to be a crowd of hundreds constantly throughout the day, because it was the biggest booth in the expo hall. Now, although it wasn't the actual Fortnite event, the
Right.
big TwitchCon Fortnite event, it was still cool casting Fortnite games because I love the game so much, and doing it in front of a large crowd over a full day. It was exhausting solo casting for a full day too.
I'm
Um,
sure. I mean, I've casted a couple of tournaments just from, my own channel and stuff like that.
mhm.
And it's like, I remember the first time I did it with somebody who was an experienced shoutcaster, and I forgot like a bottle of water, and they just laughed at me. They were like, "Yeah, you're going to need a bottle of water."
Gotta have it, man.
Gotta have it. Yeah, exactly.
He reminded me I needed some water there. I think one of the cool things I do want to mention about that specific event that I casted, that those guys, the Bebo booth that gave me that chance, and like it felt really good to work with them. They actually I think they got bought up by Twitch. So
Okay.
the Twitch actually uses their proprietary program stuff to help with their tournaments. So it's
Wow.
I'm really proud of him. Multi-million-dollar
Yeah.
deal is a sick thing. Yeah, and since then, I've been casting Ring of Elysium stuff. And for the future, we'll see what happens. I have a buddy who was talking about some Rocket League casting that
Mm.
I might pick up on with him.
Nice. And it sounds
Mhm.
really interesting. We're gonna get into because I'm really interested on your thoughts on what the future holds for yourself and what you expect. I know you wrote a social
Mhm.
media post about things that you were looking forward to achieve and stuff like that. So we'll get to a little bit of that here shortly. But before we do that, I want to talk about something that I feel very interested in, and I feel like an outsider who's like, "Hey guys, I want to," and it's Twitch things, because I feel like this is
Yeah.
something that I've seen you do a lot of it on your channel. I've seen you do requests, and you sing with a lot of duos with with
Mhm.
people and stuff like that, and it just seems awesome. And I feel like I'm so late to the party because I love singing, and I'm not like a spectacular singer, but I love singing.
Mhm.
And at first I thought, well, I don't know if I should even try, because I'm not that great of a singer. I see some people, and then I won't go in and see some of the dudes, like, oh, I could do it. I've seen a couple of people. I could hang.
First of all, let me cut you off there. I saw you perform. What was This is how we do it?
Yeah,
All right, and you cannot say that you're not good at in any way. That was amazing. That was a fun performance. You should have seen the people clapping with me outside of your little booth. That was a great time. We need more
yeah.
people like you in the Twitch Sings community.
And I love that. I love the people around me. And I think the next day I went and I did Tupac's California Love. And
Nice.
apparently nobody had done that. And I was like, like at the end he mentioned in the song, he mentions like all the different places in California, and I mentioned TwitchCon. I could hear the people outside, like I could audibly hear them like
You can hear a
clapping and
little.
stuff. Yeah, like So it was really it was really like just really great to like get that energy back, and it made me want to do it more. But like, you were mentioning to me how the Twitch Sings community has like a lot of like there's even like competitions and stuff like that. People will have like their, I mean, obviously TwitchCon had like the biggest one, which was like their own Twitch Sings competition and stuff like that. But like, for people who like casually like to like sing and stuff like that, like how do you get into the community? Like I feel like, is there like a Discord or something? Like how do you how do you get in there?
Honestly, to break into the Twitch community or Twitch Sings community, all you got to do is download Twitch Sings. Just start with just download Twitch Sings. One thing that I do know, pretty much every single person that I do Twitch Sings with, big or small, will go back and look at the people who've done a duet with them, and if they like it, maybe they'll go back and they'll return the duet.
Nice.
So it's very communicative. It's like, oh, you did a duet with me, let me do a duet with you. Like let's share in this music, this fun that is the game. Some people get too many requests and won't be able to catch all of it.
Right.
But it's a very common thing that we just say, hey, welcome to the community. Like, thanks for singing with me. Maybe I'll sing with you again sometime soon. Or just popping into streams and saying, like, you don't even have to download the app at that point. Just pop into the Twitch Sings category, go into somebody's stream, and be like, hi, how are you doing? What you singing? Awesome. Let me sing at my chair with you. You can't hear me, and maybe that's a good thing. but we're having fun with the music, man. That's all it's about. It doesn't matter about the quality of your singing abilities or how much character you could put into your performance. Those things are helpful, sure. Maybe those people that do that will be more popular, but in its essence, Twitch Sings is just about singing the song, having some fun, man. So you want to break into the Twitch Sings community, pop into somebody's stream, download the app, sing a few songs, put up an open duet or two, so somebody will come find you. Or if you want to go even deeper, like what I do, look up a couple of people, Full of Emily, and I'll even write this in the chat right here. Full of Emily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Full of Emily. She runs a competition called Take the Mic. Her own little competition that she does, and another community, Felicity. She is an amazing person. Felicity does Dare to Duet, which I've actually competed in. Does it every Saturday. Every Saturday that there's not some big event going on. There's a bunch of different competitions. Everybody, so many people want to do singing competitions. It's a dream for so many people. So it's fun. And it's fun. A lot of people do this. I've even participated in some competitions that were some events in Twitch Sings that aren't competitions at all. This streamer Annie Talks Show. She does it. She does this really fun one where she says, "All right, this is your challenge. You have to go and do a duet with yourself." So the way Twitch Sings duets work is you record a duet, you post it up, and your recorded duet somebody else can sing over with you. So she says, go record a duet and go back into the duet and sing with yourself, doing the other part. Whether you want to make it charactery or do something crazy, that's all you. But do a duet with yourself, and then we'll showcase it on the stream. So there's always opportunities for you to just do something a little bit more. And if you want to go deeper and you just want to hear these things, DM me. I got open DMs.
Nice.
Dazzle knows it. Dazzle DM'd me, and I was like, hey, I recognize you immediately. Let's do this interview. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. No, and it really is so much fun. And I look forward to doing a lot of stuff. By the way, in chat, Philly mentioned if I could do a duet of My Heart Will Go On. Philly, I will do that with you. Nice. I'll definitely. I mean, I can't guarantee that I'll hit the notes, but I'll do it. But that's really cool. I look forward to doing a lot of that, because I first, when I heard about Twitch things, I tried it out, and I felt like the list of songs wasn't as long as I wanted to be. But when I came back to it after TwitchCon, I was like, oh my god, there's so many songs now. Like, this is actually really good. Like, there's so many things. Yeah. So I look forward to like actually going in and doing a lot of duets with people and stuff like that. Well, listen, lastly, I want to talk about some of the stuff that you look forward to achieve. You mentioned how your departure from G2 Esports and your retiring of the jersey and stuff like that, and kind of like the end of an era for yourself and going into something new. Well, before we get into like all the stuff that you mentioned, because you mentioned you wanted to raise the trophy at a major LAN, right? Mm-hmm. You want to be on-screen talent for an esports on TV, and you want to do voiceover work for a video game. So those are all really great goals, and I feel like definitely attainable for somebody like you who's already had experience in the esports world. So, what are some of the things that you feel like for yourself that you want to get into now? Like, can you give us any leaks about what is next in your chapter for esports? What are you looking forward to grinding? Obviously the things that you mentioned in social media, but how do you find yourself in a position to do those things? What do you plan on doing?
Well, definitely step at a time. Yeah, I definitely won't be working on all three of those goals simultaneously.
Right. That would be very difficult.
I could give you the order of what I think it'll end up being. That definitely I kind of have figured out. Yeah. So being an on-screen talent for esports, that there's not a whole lot of on-screen talent on TV anyway for esports.
Right.
So I figured that's gonna be my like pre-retirement job. I want to be, wrinkly and old. And right. I want to be behind the caster's desk wearing a suit, talking about back in my day we played Fortnite Chapter 1.
I remember the double pump shotguns.
We had a black hole. We didn't have the game for days.
All you could do is click exit.
That's the long-term goal. We'll see that. We will see that sometime far in the future. I'm manifesting this in myself. I'm not saying we might see that. That is going to happen.
Nice.
You will see me on ESPN wearing my suit and tie, or like, I don't know what the fashion will be in the future.
Right.
A jean jacket. Who knows?
Right.
But we'll do that last. Getting work as a voice actor on a video game, I think that'll be like before being an on-screen talent.
Okay.
I think to do that, I think I need to pick up my popularity, as a player and as a streamer, as a creator.
Right.
And then get recognized and just say to everybody, hey, put me in your game.
Yeah, for sure. Just put it out there.
So I think raising the trophy is the first goal that I'm going to target. Putting my sights on Fortnite World Cup 2020.
Okay.
Putting my sights on it right now. If I can get my popularity through that, rise up as much as I can in the process, and after that, I'm gonna be like, hey, let me do a noise. I don't care if it's a minor thing. I don't care if I'm Bill Hader BB-8 Star Wars level, right. Just going beep boop boop.
Right.
But I want to be in a video game, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to start wrapping up the end of the show here, but I really appreciate you coming by and talking to me about all these great things that are going on, especially, Fortnite and Apex and enlightening me about Twitch things, because I think it's such a cool thing that I definitely want to get into. So I absolutely want to do it. So thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it, man.
It was really fun, Dazzle. Thanks for reaching out.
Yeah, no problem, man. And guys, again, Off the Wall is brought to you by Dash Threads, Juggernaut, Regen, and CGL Console Gaming League. And if you want to reach me or want to see who's going to be on the show next, check out twitter.com/Dazzle167, and we'll give you updates on who's going to be on the show next week. And until then, guys, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it. And we'll come back with the next time. And who knows, maybe we'll have you on the show again. We'll get some updates on some of the stuff you've done. So we'll see that. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here.
100 Thieves EmJov.
Oh, there you go. Hey, there we go. All right, guys, I'll see you then. Peace.